This episode of Archispeak is brought to you by Arcat. You've heard us talk about Arcat in our podcast by now, and hopefully you've taken the time to visit their site. This is a great tool for you. From small architecture firms to government agencies, everyone can benefit from what they've created. Arcat has huge libraries of free content, CAD, BIM, specifications, and more. Why is this important to you? Because Arcat has done all the work for you. You need a spec? It's in the CSI 3-part master format, available in multiple file formats. And this is just one example. Arcat has tons of building product content ready for you to use, and it's all free to use, and you don't have to register to download content. If you've used other sites, like we have, you must register to get content. Why bother with that? Go to Arcat. That's ARCAT.com, and tell them Archispeak sent you.
Welcome to Archispeak, the podcast that talks about what it's like to work in the profession of architecture.
Welcome to episode 114 of the Archispeak podcast. I'm Neil Pan.
I'm Evan Troxel.
And I'm Cormac Phelan.
And this episode, we wanted to touch base with a couple of our favorite people at the AIA National Convention in Orlando. And since we didn't go this year, we're saving our money for next year, which we're really excited about. And so we called two different people. The first one was Laura Teagarden, and the second one was Rusty Long. And Neil, tell us who Laura is again. Just give us a reminder.
Yeah, sure. So Laura is an architect, and she is works for Ratio Architects, and she was just recently on the show, actually, episode 107, the Millennial Question episode. And so she's been on before, and she actually just recently won the 2017 AIA National Young Architect Award, which I believe she received at this year's convention. So she talks a little bit about that and some other items and her impressions about the show. So I'm sure that'll be really fun to listen to. And then, Cormac, we had Rusty Long, who I don't think has actually been on the show before.
No, he's a long-time listener, first-time caller. And,
we called him.
Yeah, that's true. We did.
Okay, so long-time listener, first-time stalkee. And Rusty, longtime friend of ours and supporter and listener of the show, he is a state architect for rural development at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. He was down there both as an attendee and also attended some of the business meetings.
Business meetings, yeah.
And kind of gave us a little bit of insight on both as a show goer and also what's happening with the business meetings for the AIA.
All right, well, that's great. Let's talk to both of them now and see what they have to say about the show.
So we want to welcome Laura Teagarden to the show, who's attending the AIA convention in Orlando. So first off, Laura, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So how's it been in Orlando? How is it having the show there this year?
Yeah, what's the vibe?
Well, it's hot.
It's Florida.
Compared to Indianapolis, it's a little warm. It's good. The convention center is rather large.
Yeah.
This is year one in transition from AIA convention to the Conference on Architecture. So they're doing some stuff differently. I haven't been able to make it to the expo floor today yet because it's been a crazy busy day. But I get the feeling that some of those changes are taking place on the expo floor as well as how they're managing some of the sessions. So we will continue to see that evolve over the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. I mean, it's Orlando, right? Like, Disney World is nearby, so people are making vacations out of it.
No comment.
So have you visited Disney World?
We were able to go to Epcot last night. Yeah, last night. Stoner Bunting and some other sponsors were gracious enough to put together a dinner and drinks at Epcot for some architecture people, some of the people on the socials that you know, like Bob Borson and Merica and Mark and Jeff Eccles and that kind of crew. So that was my Disney experience. My sister and I are playing hooky tomorrow to go to Harry Potter World.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I haven't been in Orlando since I was 12, so I assume it's different. I don't remember that much of it.
So as we're recording this, we're one full day into the convention, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so what so far has been the highlight for you?
Michelle Obama, hands down.
Okay.
The opening keynotes were actually very good. Francis Carey and Michael Murphy from Mass Design Lab, both super magnetic personalities, trying, as I do, and as I know Neil was paying attention because Archispeak was liking and retweeting stuff. Francis spoke slower, so it was easy to keep up with all of the amazing stuff he was talking about. Michael was just like on the ball, and just comment after comment after comment was worth sharing, and it was really hard to keep up. They both spoke about the importance of change in architecture in different ways. Francis spoke more to using local material and ideas in new ways, because a lot of his work is in Africa. And so he's talking about, how do you use a material differently to better the environment for which children learn, or, a community creates a center. Michael spoke about those kind of changes from a social impact standpoint, that they do a lot of that out of Mass Design Lab.
Mm-hmm.
And so he spoke about, I think one of his quotes was like, you hire an artisan of the community and you invest in the community. So he talked a lot about how you do local work in a local place that makes it contextual and also continues to heal a community in a social and kind of like providing them dignity in that type of way, as well as, creating these clinics that are treating tuberculosis in the process, and they were both very good. Elizabeth Diller spoke and Alejandro Aravena spoke. Alejandro took an interesting approach. He just did like a whiteboard. So it was one of those, like, you had to know his work to understand what he was sketching about. But it was so good. But yeah, Michelle Obama, hands down, fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about what Michelle spoke about.
She spoke about what it's like to be post-White House. She told a pretty cute story about how one of her daughters, when they were in the White House, wanted to open a window and all these alarms started going off. And now that they're actually in a private home, like, she can open the window to her bedroom and kind of have that freedom and play in the backyard. And, somebody comes up to visit them, and like Michelle can actually answer the door from a doorbell that rings. Like, the White House doesn't have a doorbell, and
Yeah.
Michelle is not the one answering the door.
Well, no one's supposed to get to the front door. Come on.
Yeah. It was cute and wonderful to hear kind of the humanizing aspect of that. She also spoke about, what the foundation and the building in Chicago, what they're hoping it will be like, and, the importance of architects in that process, and how we continue to invest in cities. She made a really, it seems like a rather blunt and obvious comment about how people know when you don't care. And so, they've done a lot of work in inner cities and in neighborhoods that are neglected, and talking about how you interact with those kids, because the kids know, like, if an adult doesn't care about the neighborhood, the kid that. So how do you start to create systems that show that you care and make sure that everyone's being looked out for in that type of environment? So yeah, it was really interesting.
Oh, it sounds like it was a great keynote speaker event, really, because everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it was packed.
Oh, it was. People literally left the morning keynote, which ended around 10:30, walked out the door, grabbed a coffee or a muffin, and then went and stood back in line.
Yeah.
And the doors didn't open until noon.
I think that was the most popular picture posted with the hashtag
line.
was the line to get into her keynote.
Yeah.
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 And how long it had been building up. So, you're talking 2 hours.
Awesome.
A whole lot of cranky architects.
So it was totally worth it. That's awesome.
Yes, it was totally worth it.
It's great that the AIA was able to put something together that really attracted so many people there. It seemed like when the conference was first announced, the details were thin, and then as they started adding more and more speakers, it seemed like once they added Michelle Obama, it was like, okay, now we're excited to go, and it sounds like it really delivered.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree.
So then right after that, what did you end up doing? You had a special engagement.
I had to leave early because I was presenting one of the sessions right after that. So I left, I think maybe 10 minutes early. Like she was almost done, but I wasn't sure if we were. So that keynote started late, which was the larger issue. So I left early because I wasn't sure if they were going to push all of the sessions. So I wanted to make sure I was there. And so yes, I was speaking. I spoke as a part of the 2+2 session. So it was myself and another young architect awardee, and then 2 fellows speaking about what amazing architecture means to us. And most of them spoke about their portfolio. I spoke about mentorship and why I'm an architect and what kind of the career path has meant to me.
You did kind of a timeline presentation, didn't you? Like your journey to where you are?
Yep.
Awesome.
And how that career path can be fluid. Like it's not, no one's is going to be the same. But I was trying to show, you can speak most about what you know. And so I showed through mine how different, personality traits growing up led to being able to overcome roadblock obstacles along my career path, and what those pieces led me to do then in the future. So.
And real quick, just give everybody congratulations on your award, by the way. I mean, maybe you could just tell everybody a little bit about that, because I don't think the last time that you were on the show, I think it was still a big secret. So
yeah. So I was one of 14 people who won the National Young Architect Award this year.
Awesome.
Out of, I think it's been 25 years now, and there's like 180 some people who have received the award in that span of time.
Fantastic.
And yeah, so I was one of 14 this year. I'm the first female from Indiana.
Awesome.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Represent. Now everyone has to follow in your footsteps. I mean, you're blazing the trail. It's awesome.
Well, so that was actually one of the, to go back to Michelle Obama, that was a really inspiring quote that she said was, Tom Vanier asked her about, so he's the current AIA national president.
Mm-hmm.
He asked her about work-life balance, and she made a comment which is very true. She said, the people who have the ability to push things further need to push things further for the women who don't. So yeah, it's I guess maybe that's not to compare myself to her in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, you have to keep pushing. So I'm the first, but I don't expect myself to be the last. In fact, I will make sure that there are other women from Indiana pursuing it in the next couple years. So, but yeah, it was really nice. We had an award ceremony then right after my presentation. Amongst they presented the awards for the young architects, the associates that won, and all of the actual projects. So like the interior architecture awards and the Thomas Jefferson Award. Paul Williams' granddaughter came and spoke at the end. So it was really cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah.
So what else are you looking forward to the rest of the now that you can sit back and possibly maybe enjoy the rest of the convention?
Now that I can relax. Well, obviously Harry Potter World is a big thing tomorrow.
You mean your major architectural tour? Harry Potter World.
Yeah. Well, so I don't sign up for a lot of the tours when I go places. I was lucky enough that Marika McKeel gave us a behind-the-scenes interview with her cousin of Florida Polytech.
Awesome.
Wednesday, the afternoon before, so yesterday afternoon. But other than that, I don't do a lot of the tours, so I'm looking forward to Amy Cuddy on Saturday. I think that'll be interesting. Other than that, I'm just going to try and, make sure I get my credits and see the expo floor at some point. It feels weird, in the past conventions, like that's where you go. But I'm so busy this convention that I won't get to the expo floor until Saturday.
All those vendors have websites. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure and stop by ArtCat and tell them.
Woohoo!
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, say hi to Bill, and that would be great.
Yeah, they're showing off some cool toys over there, so go check them out. Actually.
Yeah. So but I'm kind of in a brain dead, relaxed mode at this point. It's been a long day. So
all the stress leading up to this, giving your talk and all of the planning that you had done, what's going through your mind now? Now you can relax, but was all the stress and all the stuff, was it all done in vain, or was it all a good process to go through? I mean, how much did you actually strain yourself to pull this off the way that you wanted to? It sounds like you worked really hard on it.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of stress leading up to it. I would say, if you're going to look at like hard metrics, it was a success because someone, as I was talking, went and bought my books. They went and bought like the ARE sketches.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and it was one of those, the humble Hoosier. Like, I'm not telling people, hey, go buy my books.
Yeah.
As a part of the career process, I'm talking about how, learning social media and trying to make sure that I'm giving back, and sharing my knowledge, and then sharing those sketches, and then how that evolution led to the creation of the books. And the guy, I saw him at the fellows party, and he was like, hey, in the middle of the thing, I bought your books. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool.
You're like, you could have waited for the rest of my talk and then go and buy them.
Well,
no,
so what was funny was, I was like, I didn't see an email come through. Did you buy them from Amazon? He was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, well, that's fine. You're going to get the books. You just won't get cool bookmarks.
You'll miss out on the perks.
Oh, well. We'll make sure to have the correct links in our show notes so people can know where to go and buy the books.
Cool. Thank you.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And, there's definitely some FOMO going on here from us. I tweeted today. I know I was feeling it. Yeah. We can't do everything.
I was talking to Donna, and she was like, oh, we missed them. And I was like, yeah, there were a couple points where I know Cormac would have cracked a joke. And probably at Neil's expense, but.
No.
Most likely.
Come on, I never do that.
Sure.
But yeah, you are missed. My my credit card doesn't mind it so much because I'm not having to buy donuts. But
yeah, that's on our rider, right?
Don't worry.
Laura
There's
must
pastries in New York.
Yep, there are.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for taking the time to talk to us, and hope you have a great rest of the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks.
Enjoy Harry Potter World.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
Well, we'd like to thank again Laura Teagarden for joining us on the show, giving us her insight and letting us know what we've been missing. And up next, we'd like to check in with Rusty Long, see how he's doing.
Doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Doing good. It's a nice Friday here.
Not as good as you, man.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So, hey, Rusty. So you've been at the convention now a couple of days. Why don't you give us a highlight of the show so far for you, or maybe a couple of highlights?
Okay. So the most fantastic. We had two really good keynote speakers the first day. One of them you might have heard of, Michelle Obama. She's kind of a big deal. Her speech was fantastic. And then, but actually before her, they had Mass Design Group and a couple other guys all talking about community service focused architecture and how we can really make a difference. And it was really inspiring. I mean, it's exactly the kind of thing that you come to convention for. So that was cool. And then after that, we had the Entree Architect meetup last night. Got to meet with the small firm exchange tonight. And actually the first night we met with Bob Borson and that whole crew, and we got to go on a tour of Epcot. I mean, it's actually been a pretty amazing couple of days.
Nice. So what happened today at the convention that you were a part of?
So today the big thing for me was actually leaving the convention on a totally unannounced tour of a small firm located in Midtown. There's actually 4 individual architects that have small firms that decided to share a space. And through kind of the synergy of being able to build up and team up when they have big projects and split up and do their own thing for smaller stuff, they managed to have a flexibility that is lacking in the market in Orlando, where there's a lot of real big firms and everybody's kind of focused on the big tourist clients down here. And they did just a fantastic project called I think it's the Edible Education, a combination of garden, classroom setting for an underprivileged community. And while they're in the process of just meeting with local folks to see if they can help this client make the whole thing happen, they're in the classroom at the local school. And lo and behold, Emerald Ghazi pops in and says, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And decides to put them in touch with this foundation and gives them $500,000 that's then matched with another $500,000 by the local hospital. And suddenly they have this fantastic project that's totally funded out of nowhere. But it was really good design. And it happened because of the engagement that they had with the local community. There was no magic. I know somebody who knows somebody. It was just everyone was in the right place in the right time. The architecture is beautiful, and it's making a difference in the community. So
that's
by far the day.
Is that the project that you posted on Twitter today?
Yes, I'm going to post a whole bunch more pictures after we get off.
Awesome. Tell everybody what your Twitter handle is so that they can check it out.
So my Twitter handle is Rusty, Rusty H Long.
All right, and we'll put that in the show notes so that everybody can follow Rusty and see the photos of the project. Cool. So what are you looking forward to?
So tonight is the party, which I understand I have actually managed to not go to one of those in the last 2 years and was planning to actually try and go to that. There's another couple keynote speakers tomorrow. And besides that, I have no formal agenda for Saturday. I think the goal is to try and get out and see some more of Orlando.
Nice. So what's
Rusty?
Go ahead, Neil.
I was going to ask you, what has the show been like being in Orlando this year?
So there's a little bit of kind of geographic isolation to the convention center itself. But the quality of presentations and keynote speakers, and just the level of engagement of the show itself, what the AIA has put together, has been vastly improved. I think last year was better than the year before, and I think this year was better than last year. So where it used to feel like everything was about the big corporate firms, I think the efforts that the AIA has made to reach out at the grassroots level and kind of get a feeling of what the small practitioners are up to, what are the sole practitioners and the little firms doing, and bringing them into the conversation more. We're headed further in that direction. I think there's still a lot further to go for the AIA, but I think that this convention has moved further in that direction. So it's been pretty good.
Do you feel like that there's been presentations or content provided that you can kind of take back and directly apply to what you do as an architect?
Definitely. Yeah. So the most interesting actual official continuing ed seminar had to do with disaster relief housing and refugees, and talking about how we assess the need and how large it is when you talk about sea level rise and storms. And being in North Carolina, we very recently had Hurricane Matthew just devastated whole swaths of the state, and understanding how it is that we can use our knowledge base, not just on the individual fixing one structure, because that's great. But we have so much more to bring to the table in the staging and the pre-planning before the next event, in the master planning and the advocacy at the city level and at the community level. And I think that was what I'm going to take back with me when I get back to Raleigh is how am I going to engage and plan for the next one and be in the place to help people when they need it right after the next disaster.
That's awesome. So it sounds to me like there's a lot of, generally, a lot of topics around architects banding together and helping their communities and talking about a lot of social impact, things of that nature this time. Absolutely.
And when Michelle Obama came and spoke, she spoke on the importance of mentoring and being engaged in your community, investing in the children, not just the schools, not just the roads and the infrastructure, but individually, each one of us. The kids that are in an underprivileged part of town, one-parent households that are in a struggling school, they don't yet have the opportunity to meet an architect unless we're reaching out to them, because it's not going to come up as part of the school curriculum. It's not something that the guidance counselor is going to set up. It's on us to reach out to them, to let them know this is something they can do, that we care about their community, and then if they care, they can help make it better for the next generation. So I think that it has, that really set the tone, and I've seen time and time again, conversation, that's the direction that things are growing. We're talking about how we can use all the social networking and the technology in ways to be a force multiplier for all the little guys to make a big difference.
Awesome. You guys have any other questions?
I do, actually.
Speak them.
I would be remiss if I wouldn't have asked Rusty this question about his favorite yearly resolution.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because as it turns out, a group did come and make a resolution for the umpteenth time.
I thought you were talking about New Year's resolutions. Now I'm disappointed.
No. The architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth were present.
Yeah, they were.
They made their motion, and it was soundly defeated. And I actually could not find their booth. I tried. I walked the whole floor. I don't know if they don't have a booth this year, or if they were hiding from me because they knew that I wanted to talk to them. But
where are you?
Oh, exactly. I mean, I didn't have a big sign on or anything. But so that happened again. I did not get any. The AIA's kind of approach to it seems to kind of ignore it and then it'll go away. I don't think it's going to.
Yes,
but I don't know.
They can just continue, right? They can just continue year after year.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rules in place about putting forward the same motion without support.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody brought up a really good point that some of the signatories that are supposedly part of the petition, their names were not supposedly, allegedly, were not gathered under that pretense. It was more like they signed up for a continuing ed thing, and that was slipped under the cover sheet of the petition kind of thing. And I mean, it's a pretty bold accusation, but if it's true, it kind of lends the credence that this is not a real conversation. And the longer that we as an institute let it drag on, it's going to continue. I don't see it going away.
Yeah, it sounds like they're really trying to avoid that confrontation.
Yeah. Well, and nobody wants to make the hard stand. I don't get it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Oh. So other than that resolution, what else, like resolution wise?
Yeah. So the business meeting, they had a couple good moves. They made some changes to the bylaws to line up with the previous realignment and changes to the board. It's all technical stuff, but it's good that we're kind of squared away on it. There was actually a resolution moved forward to look into specialty designations. I think it was a joint piece between Chicago and I want to say California.
Yeah, it was.
To look at specialty. Yeah. So you guys
meaning what? Yeah.
So if I understand it correctly, it has to do with the differentiation between a residential and a commercial, and different levels of architect and different areas of focus.
More specialization type stuff, right?
Yeah. And it was actually a very, very close vote. It did pass with some friendly amendments, as they call them, but it passed with a simple majority, and it was a pretty close vote. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, because I think there was already some efforts by the AIA to look into that, and there's already some kind of group investigating whether that's something we need to look into. I think it ties into the removal of the term intern and all that stuff. I think that's all part of that the same recognition that the field that we practice in has changed, and we need to catch up. Now, what form that takes is obviously what we're debating. But that was probably the most genuinely interesting piece of the business meeting. Besides, we have some great officers this year, new directors at large, all that stuff. I'm not sure when that's all going to be posted on the site, but it's exciting that the leadership it's a much more diverse group than it used to be.
So real quick, I just want to ask a question of clarification on that resolution that you just explained. Now, are they trying to make a distinction between residential, commercial, and whatnot, or is it a more inclusive type thing? Because I lost you a little bit on what the actual resolution was trying to accomplish.
I think it's about the first stages of, do we need to differentiate it further? I don't think it got down to the level of what those individual specialties would be.
Doesn't it somewhat sound a little exclusive? Because, now you're, it's like, oh, you're a residential architect, or, oh, you're a commercial architect, or, oh, you're a residential architect kind of thing,
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I mean, I think that there's definitely some value in there being a bar under which you are an architect or you're not. I think that's part of what we all grew up in terms of reaching our own licensure. And there's a risk of watering it down for the next generation by making it either more exclusive or lowering the bar for certain kinds of practice. And I think that I'm hoping that's not the direction it's going to go, but it's I'm looking up now to see if I've got the actual name, the number for the resolution, but I'll give you guys the link for the show notes.
It's 17-4.
Oh, see, you knew.
Yeah, it's and I don't know a lot about it either. We'll put a link to it in the show notes, but I think one of the big concerns is kind of what you're getting at, Cormac, which is kind of further cutting up the profession of architecture, dividing it, and it seems like we're already kind of infatuated with names and titles and all this stuff. It seems like with the intern debate and and then even this recent news of the guy going to jail for 15 years for trying to pass himself off as an architect, and when he wasn't an architect. And so, but at the same time, the IA doesn't really fight for the title of architect at all. Right. So,
right.
So there's always this kind of this back and forth that's going on. And so it sounds like this could be, just one of those other debates that's just really about names and titles, when it's really like the profession needs fixing in a much different way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Rusty.
I think that's exactly. I think you hit it spot on. And I think it's in much the same way. I remember last year's there was a lot of conversation about adding things to our service, to not just to bring additional fees, but to add value to the process. And it's stuff that we used to already do. It's stuff that was stripped away when our services were pared down over the last 30, 40 years, and trying to bring, commissioning and pieces that were either they didn't exist technologically, or it was part of what we were already doing as a fully financed architect with a legitimate fee. I think that's the getting into specialty credentialing and how many additional designations do I need besides architect. It can muddy the waters so much that you're going to narrow down your customer base, and you're going to narrow down where you can help, just because you're so narrowly focused.
Yeah, and I think as architects, a lot of times a project's a project, and you don't have to specialize in a typology to do it well. And so I think that this could, like you're saying, Cormac, be pretty exclusive, where if a firm isn't a specialized firm in name, then they probably won't even be shortlisted for a particular type of project, when in fact they might be able to do it just fine. So yeah, I could see how this could go a lot of different ways. I'm interested to follow this one.
Yeah, because simple things like a lot of sole practitioners do a lot of residential, and does that pigeonhole them into just doing residential, or how do you?
We're already like totally stifled by these continuing education stuff, right? Like imagine having to do that for all these different certifications now to get all these different titles so that you can even go after certain types of projects. I could just see this just tying a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what else are you looking forward to? Saturday's kind of your open day. And since you got a car, I'm going to suggest you drive out to Florida Southern College, done by Frank Lloyd Wright. And since you're already down in the Lakeland area, I'm making you go anyway.
Yeah,
just to let you know.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm give you...
Cormac, because it's you, I will do it. I will go down tomorrow.
Nice.
I will go down there, and I will Instagram, and I'll make sure I get at least one selfie. Sandals and all, just for you.
Flip-flops.
You know what? Here's what I want you to do.
That's
I want
Florida
you to find
appropriate.
I want you to find an open field of grass, wear your flip-flops. Well, no, take your flip-flops off and walk through that grass. And then when your feet are filled with sand spurs, you'll never do the flip-flops again.
Yeah, sand spurs and alligators. I'll pass.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Rusty. It's awesome.
Thank you guys for including me in the conversation. We all appreciate what you guys do, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys in New York next year.
Well, we're your biggest fan.
Absolutely.
And we'll be following your Instagram, especially on Saturday, tomorrow, which is, we're recording early here. It's Friday, but we'll be following it tomorrow to check out your photography.
That sounds fantastic. I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Rusty.
All right. Good night, fellas.
All right. So thank you to both of our favorite people there, Laura and Rusty, for talking to us about their impressions of the AIA convention this year. And we're actually, personally, I was a little, like we alluded to when we were talking to Rusty there, a little sad that I didn't make it this year. And I think most of it has to do with those people. For me, it's kind of this Archispeak community that we've been a part of, especially going to the conventions the last couple of years. And to me, that's really what I think is the most important part of going to the convention. Every time we go to the convention, we do the convention shows. I think that's kind of a common theme that shows up. So anyway, that to me is kind of the biggest part of missing out on the convention, is seeing those people and once a year and hanging out with them. So thanks again, Rusty and Laura, and make sure you guys all follow them on our show notes. We have links to their Twitter pages, their Twitter bios, where you can follow them and see all their photos and thoughts and impressions from the show, and the little videos that they've been shooting of the keynote addresses and stuff like that. So I think that about wraps it up for this episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think so. Well, before we go, we should also thank our episode sponsor. We have ARCAT as the sponsor for this episode. Make sure to check out all the features they offer over at arcat.com. And I know at the convention they were showing off some of their sketching tools that they have. That looked really cool.
So cool, because we weren't able to talk about this before, but yeah, if you hopefully had the chance to stop by the Big Red A at their booth and sketch make things in VR, super cool stuff that they're working on over there at ARCAT.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of what they were showing off on Twitter this week at the convention, and it looked really cool. So I'm glad we can finally say something about it, because I know that's been hush hush for a little while for us.
Yep.
So also, too, just to remind everybody to make sure to visit our website, as Evan just mentioned, to check out all the show notes. And that's at archispeakpodcast.com. And you'll also find links to our entire catalog of episodes. And you can sign up for our newsletter, which will include the links directly into your email box. And then also, too, just remember you can join the conversation about the AIA convention or anything else by posting over on our Archispeak Facebook page or on Twitter. Links to everything can be found at the site archispeakpodcast.com. And before we go, we just want to remind everybody to go over and subscribe to the show. I know a number of listeners listen to it off the website itself, and that's fantastic. But if you do actually listen to it, say on your phone or in your car on your phone or somewhere else, head on over to Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the show. That'll really help us out. It'll definitely push the numbers up a little bit for us, which of course helps raise awareness of the show. So we really appreciate that if you can go do that. And there's a link on our site to actually take you directly to the Apple Podcasts link, or to Stitcher, or I think on Google Play as well. Yep. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.
I joined the choir to sing. They're all competing for some other thing. I joined the choir to sing. I joined the choir to sing. They're all competing for some other thing. I joined the choir to sing. nation under God. Service my city with all that I've got. But when I'm running, pleasure is fear. So I run, I'm meant to run, this is clear. Got started without being, I got needs, I bleed. You can say I feed on the speech, you can say I eat